No matter what impossible situations the Batman finds himself in, the Dark Knight always perseveres, knowing that he can always rely on his tools, his training, his allies, and an army of armored monkeys that combined into a giant armored monkey? What the fuck? Greetings fanboys and fangirls, I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and this is by far the weirdest, most outlandish entry into the DC animated features. And comics are already weird as hell, so you know that's saying something. This was a collaboration between DC Entertainment and the Japanese animation studio Kamikaze Doga, and the film was directed by Takashi Okazaki, who created Afro Samurai, which is awesome. Batman Ninja, on the other hand, well, let's talk about it.
The plot.
Batman and a bunch of his characters are abruptly teleported through time and space to feudal Japan by Gorilla Grodd, where he intends to rule as a god, as monkeys and gorillas are believed to be sacred within Japanese culture. But he accidentally brought a bunch of Batman's rogues along with him, who are now feuding over control of the country. And now it's up to Batman and his allies to stop the villains and end the rogue wars, before they destroy Japan and alter the course of history.
I have to say I've really enjoyed the sushi here. Mwah! It's even better with some sauce.
As I explained before, this feature has a lot, and I do mean a lot, of ridiculous, preposterous bullshit. Like Sumo Bane. Yup, a South American luchador mercenary just suddenly decided to become a sumo. But that's actually the least ridiculous thing that happens here, as all of the villains are armed with giant fighting mechs. Yeah. So even if you ignore the fact that it would be impossible for them to gather the components necessary to build such machines in this time period, this still hurts the story, as a big part of the fun of this was seeing Batman and his cast having to survive and operate without the technology and conveniences of modern times. But fuck it, who cares? Big robots, deal with it. But honestly, this too is minor. You can ignore the silliness due to the tone, but that still doesn't excuse bad writing. There are so many insulting plot conveniences here that the writers should have been fined by the Writers Union. For starters, Batman arrives in medieval Japan, and Alfred is already there, and he has a house and Batmobile ready for him. Wait, how?
Alfred was in the Batmobile that night.
What? Why were you in the Batmobile? And why did Batman not know about it? Not only is this stupid, but it's distracting. I sat there thinking about this for 10 minutes. And after that, it's just one silly plot convenience after the other. Oh, and Robin has a pet monkey. That's great.
Cast and characters.
While I can't comment on the original Japanese actors due to my ignorance of the language, the American actors pretty much delivered standard dubbed performances. The two standouts were Tara Strong and Greg Griffin as Harley Quinn and Catwoman. I can safely say that the ladies stole the show.
Take your medicine, kitty kitty, and say goodnight.
Keep your tongue to yourself.
As far as the characterization is concerned, most of the characters were adapted well, except for one. Unfortunately, that character was Batman. In this movie, the Dark Knight detective is a Dark Knight dumbass. He lands in ancient Japan, deduces his location, and then tries to grapple away onto invisible skyscrapers. He decides that his technology and weapons are no match for the weapons the villains are using, so he decides to switch to crude old ninja weapons. Wait, what? You know, you could just steal and repurpose one of the villain's mechs into your own mech or vehicle. But no, sticks, swords, and hand gliders it is. Thank God for the 101 magical plot conveniences, otherwise you'd be totally fucked. But the biggest sin against the Caped Crusaders character is that they took the paranoid and distrustful Batman and turned him into a gullible idiot. Right off the bat, he opts to trust and work with Catwoman, who of course eventually betrays him. Now, you could potentially excuse this, because Batman does have a soft spot for Selina. But here's the thing, it happens 3 times. First with Catwoman, then with Grodd, and then, and this is the worst one of them all, with the Joker. Yeah, There's a scene where Red Hood and Batman find the Joker and Harley posing as farmers in the Japanese countryside. And Red Hood totally sees through their charade and wants to bring them to justice. But Batman's all like, "He's sane now, leave him be." And they just walk away. Yup, the same guy who shot and paralyzed Batgirl and tortured and killed the second Robin. He just let him go. No reason to punish that guy. If I had been watching this movie for fun instead of for the purposes of a review, this would have been the scene where I would have turned it off.
Favorite line.
While the story left little to be desired, the dialogue was still pretty solid, from Joker and Harley's insane rantings to the occasional action hero one-liner. In fact, this feature contains one of the wittiest lines I've ever heard associated with DC Comics.
Isn't eating a banana a little cliche?
Says the cat burglar in the cat costume.
Character design and animation.
If this feature has one true strength, is that it is aesthetically gorgeous. The fusion of Western and Eastern culture is done so well that it puts Firefly to shame. There's so many brilliant details in these designs that I could stare at them for hours. The quality of the animation, however, fluctuates a lot. Basically, if there's an action sequence, everything looks awesome. If the characters are just standing around talking, it looks like shit. The modern animated Godzilla films use a very similar style of animation, and everything looks excellent in those. I just wish the same level of care and quality would have gone into animating one of our greatest icons.
Final verdict.
Now I want to make two things clear before I close this out, just for the sake of avoiding misconceptions. Number one, I am not harping on this movie just because it's anime. While I may not be a hardcore fan of the genre, that doesn't mean that I don't occasionally watch an anime show or movie, or that I hate this movie because I fail to understand it. To the contrary, I think anime is a beautiful animation style that I hope continues to endure. No, what I'm commenting on here is bad writing. Being fantastic or outlandish is no excuse for bad storytelling or bad character portrayals. All of the Studio Ghibli films are fantastic and weird, yet they always contain a cohesive narrative and good characters. Batman is a character that's renowned for having the largest amount of good stories related to him. All I'm saying is, he deserves better.
Come on.
Gotta love a man who can forgive a girl for double-crossing him.
And number two, I've heard a lot of people compare this movie to Batman the Brave and the Bold, claiming that this is just the anime version. Okay, that comparison is wrong. Batman the Brave and the Bold is a brilliant, touching, well-written show disguised as a silly tribute to the Silver Age of comics. Batman Ninja is a silly, badly written, disjointed mess disguised as something more serious and sophisticated. I give it a 4. Check it out only if you're a hardcore Batman fan, or if you just love really campy anime like Speed Racer. Otherwise, you might want to skip this one. Until next time, I'm Erod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster.